All right, guys, so glad you're back. Was that amazing or what? Listen, when Tony gets in his groove, there's nobody on the planet that can dig into your heart, dig into your soul like that man. He's got 45 years of not only experience, but caring for people. And as he evolves, as he grows, his heart gets bigger. And I just love watching him. When he's in that zone, I could take notes for days. And here's one more thing. As we move forward, as we progress, remember this. I don't care if you've ever heard what Tony just shared, and he's shared it to very few people except his live audience, is what you just learned. And what I'm about to share, if you've heard it before, if you learned it from me, these aren't the things you learn once and you're good for life. Life is attacking us all the time, from the negative news and the media and friends and family and inner self-doubt and that inner villain saying, we can't do this, or feeling like an imposter. It's an attack all the time. So how do we defeat it? How do we overcome it? We take principles like this and we put them in our life every single day. I know it's a worn out analogy and I probably use it too much. But as you move forward through this course, as you gain the unstoppable mindset, because when you're done here, you're going to jump into the strategies and the tactics and the tools to make this real in your life. This is the section you want to come back to. Because again, the worn out statement or the worn out phrase is, it's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym for a weekend, work out like a mad woman or a madman and be in good shape for the rest of your life, right? You eat wrong, you go off track, you drink too much sugar. You got to keep going back to the gym and build the muscle. We also have to build this muscle on a regular basis. And that's why I'm so excited you have module 1 to go back to all the time. And here's what I'd encourage you to do. You're going through the modules, you got it, you're fired up, you get to module 2, you're done. Oh my God, I know exactly what I'm gonna teach. I know who to teach to. You get to module 3, oh my God, I know how to sell this. I can do it through my heart. I can do it elegantly. I feel amazing. And then all of a sudden you start saying, well, but I'm not sure I can teach it. Come back to this module. Or you start doubting yourself, or that old belief pops in that says, hey, we've tried this before, but we're kind of a procrastinator, or we're not really that smart, or my husband doesn't believe in you, and are you really going to be able to do this without your husband's support? If any of those crappy stories come back, then pop this back in, put it in your ears, go for a walk, do it, go on the treadmill, do what it takes to stay in this state of mind that you're in at this very moment, because at the end of the day, the only thing that can stop you from going where you want to go in this industry, where you deserve to be, where the world needs you to be, the only thing that can stop you is your belief if you can or you can't. If someone would have told me that 20 years ago, I'd be like, oh God, this person's into that foo-foo spiritual stuff. Oh, if I believe it, I can do it, right? And now I realize at 52 years old and being on this planet for so long that with the right mindset, anything is possible. Everything is possible. From the relationships you have, to the parenting, to the success, to the business. And that's why I'm so excited you're here. And remember this, when you're in this state, anything feels possible, right? And the reason we want to arm you with these tools is because when you're out of this state, when you're not in this course and you're out in the real world, all of the things that were there in your life will still be there. If it's someone negative in your life or someone that doesn't believe in you or watching the news, it's all going to be there. So these are the tools to keep you on track. Right? These are the tools to come back to. And these are the things that I hope you remember. It only takes a little shift. Tony always says it's a millimeter. It's a tiny little shift. And I have a story that I want to tell you that it's a silly analogy I've been saying for probably 15 years, but it helps me. And that's, I picture a farmer, right? I picture a farmer who gets up every day and he drives out a mile into the field to feed the cows, right? If he did that every single day, put the corn on the back of the tractor, turns it on, drives the same way. Eventually, that farmer in the dirt would build what? Ruts, right? In the dirt. And I'm not saying you're in a rut or your life's in a rut, but if we do the same thing every day, we get up and do the same thing, we read the paper or don't read the paper, we have a certain coffee, we have a certain drink, we take a walk, we do something, we look at our phone, eventually we're building a routine. We're building ruts. Because if you think about this, if that farmer gets up and does it every day, eventually he can kind of put the corn on the back of the tractor, start it, put it in gear, and kind of take his hand off the wheel, right? Because the wheel stays in the ruts. It stays in that pattern of what he's been doing or what she's been doing every single day, right? And kind of seems like when we want to change our world, when we want to enter the knowledge industry, the self-education industry, we want to do something, impact the world, be a part of the digital economy, or just do something impactful and finally live into your full potential, it feels like If you were the farmer, it's like, I'm giving up on this farm. I'm never farming again. I have to grab this tractor. I have to grab this wheel. I got to steer out of these ruts, and I got to do a 180 and drive over to a different farm, a different land. And that's not really how it is. That's kind of a facade. The things you've already done in life are the actual fuel, is the fuel for the thing you're going to be doing in this industry. It's not a completely different world. Your experiences of things that went wrong in life are preparing you for what can go right here. The yeses you've gotten, the no's you've gotten, the companies you thought of starting or you did start, the experiences, the mess that you had, all of those things are actually the fuel to make you better at what you do. So you're already, think about it, you're already starting on third base. You're not learning, nobody's wiping your mind clean and going, oh, all my life experience is gone. Now I'm a kindergartner starting in this new industry, even though we feel that way sometimes. Because if you're going from a current industry where you have capabilities and confidence and knowledge and you just got it, and then you come over here and it's new, you're like, oh, I don't know any of this. I'm not true. You have to lend all of those life experiences into this new industry, and that's what this course, Tony and I, the training that you get, the live events we do, these are the little nuances and the pieces to fill the gaps. Make sense? Right? So back to the farmer story. We tell ourselves a terrible lie that we're starting over, starting fresh, and who's going to listen to me, all these crazy stuff that hopefully we're going to squash in here, right? When really, it's more like Kaizen. Right? What's Kaizen? The art of one little step at a time, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Hopefully nobody's eating elephants, right? But how do you run a 1,000-mile race? One step at a time. How do you master this industry? One little piece at a time. Because think about this. If that same farmer got up and every day has been going the same way, can let go of the wheel, the ruts of life take him there. What if that farmer got up one morning and just decided he wanted something different? And he put the corn on the back of the tractor, and he started the tractor, and he put it in gear. And he didn't cut the wheel as a 180 and go the other way. He just took the wheel and turned it a little bit, not even a quarter of a turn, just turned it a little bit and went in gear. In the first second, he had a little bump to get out of the rut, and in 10 feet, he's almost in the same place because it's only turned the wheel a little. But what about 100 feet out? What about 100 yards out? What about a quarter of a mile out? What about a half a mile out? A mile out, when he used to drive to the field, he wouldn't even be able to see where he was. He couldn't see the old place. He's in a new world, but it only took a quarter of a turn, right? So I want you to think about, as you go through this course, you already have the life experience. You already have so many circumstances of life, so many experiences. You don't need a 180. You need a little turn of the wheel. And when you think about that, when life hits you, when friends question you, when your inner self-doubt wants you to feel like an imposter, when your husband or wife who love you dearly say, you sure this is for you? Instead of going, yeah, I don't know, go, yeah, no, I'm turning the wheel a quarter of an inch at a time. But I'm going to continue forward, because the only way the farmer doesn't end up in a different destination is how? If he turns the tractor off and he stops. That's the only way you don't end up in a new location. And if your tractor is going a half a mile an hour and the person next to you is going 20, that's okay. You go at your pace. Part of this family is about a culture of progress. The only person you have to be better than is the version of you last week, last month, last year. Some of you, listen, in the community, you're going to see this. There's people literally in the first week of getting this course do something amazing and have an event going. That's true. There's some people who take 6 months. But if you notice, as I read and we do shout outs every single week, and you should be a part of that community, what do a lot of people say? It took me a whole year to finish this course, but I sold my first 3 this week. I did my first mastermind. I collected XYZ amount of money, and that blows all of our minds. We're like, oh my God, she did that, right? You go at your own pace. It's a culture of progress. It's not a culture of competition. It's not a culture of comparing, right? We love to compare ourselves to the perfect version of ourselves. It doesn't exist. It's like chasing the horizon. I don't care how fast you go west, you're never going to catch the sunset. I don't care how fast and how hard we work, we're never going to catch the perfect version of us. We're never going to move forward if we compare ourselves to someone else either, right? You could feel better by comparing yourself who took a year if you took 6 months. And you could compare and feel terrible by comparing to the crazy people that come out of the park and do it in 3 weeks, right? Only person we have to look at is who we used to be. So on this journey of anchoring in this feeling, this state of mind, moving forward, making progress every single day, every single week, every single month, I want to go through a process that I do quarterly. Every 3 to 4 months of my life, always I do this, and it changes. Sometimes I'll do it 3 times in a month. Sometimes I'll do it but always 4 to 6 times a year. And it's the clarity tool. You see, when people say to me, I wish I had more time, I wish I could eliminate all these things in my life. When people think they need a time management program, in my opinion, I believe they need a clarity tool. They need a clarity process. They need to know what to focus on because we're so damn distracted. Oh my God, we live in the most distracted time in the history of the world. I mean, this little device right here in our pocket, that could eat up our entire life alone, and that's only one piece of today's world. So also, I want to tell you something. As you go through the course, you're going to have tools in your toolbox. These are tools that you should absolutely go through every single one of them. Every tool we have is crafted through years of experience, or we learned them from somebody else and it impacted our life so much that we wanted to give it to you. So go through the tools, but also know you can use them in your courses, your trainings, your live training, your workshop, your Zoom, your mastermind. These are tools that work in any niche. They're not just for what we do, they're for any niche possible, anything you're training. So some of them I'll teach, like I'm teaching now. I want you to go through the process, but no, you can take this tool from us, you can convert it, and you can use it in your trainings. And I promise you, they're beyond impactful. So in this clarity tool, it's kind of got 4 steps. And the 4 steps are this. Where are you right now with complete honesty? You see, you can't go where you want to go unless you're really honest with where you are. So we're going to go through that. Where are you with complete honesty? The second part is, where do you really want to go? If it was a year from now and it was the best year of your life, what does that look like? The third part is we're going to talk about and go really deep on why the heck you want it. Why are you here watching this course? Why do you want another level? Why do you want more success, more control, more freedom? Why? And we're going to go through that. Most people talk about having a purpose. Purpose is kind of the end result. If you don't have the energy behind it, you'll never get to your purpose. So I'm going to show you that. And then the last part is the capabilities you need to get there. If you're on one side of a canyon and you want to get to the other side of the canyon, there's a gap, right? What are the capabilities you need to build that bridge, right? This course is a bridge. If you were in the knowledge industry or information industry, want to go to another level, this is the bridge. If you're brand new and wanting to start, this is the bridge. You could try to learn on your own and navigate and try to get through the canyon, or you get a bridge, right? So this process is about where you are in your life. Where is it that you want to go? Why in your heart do you want it? And what capabilities do you need to arrive at that destination? And again, if you've done this before, congratulations. If you haven't done it in the last 30 days, well then play full out and do this, especially after what you just learned from Tony. This will really anchor it in. So let's think about this. If we want to go to a destination, we have to decide where we are. If you use your phone for GPS, you have to first plug in where you are before they can give you the destination of where you want to go, right? They have to map it out. So how do you find your starting point? That's what we're going to talk about, right? Because if you're here watching, learning right this moment, you're here for one of 2 reasons. You're either wanting to move away from something painful or you want to move towards something pleasurable. You can just tell my depth of knowledge, right? Think about that. We all make decisions for one of 2 reasons. I want to move away from something that's not working, or I want to move towards something that's pleasurable. So think about that. And I feel really blessed to have this live audience with us today, rocking it out. Thank you so much. And those of you at home, write this down. It doesn't matter that you're not here live. I'm filming this live, like I've said multiple times, because it's the energy and the feedback is just amazing, and it's taken my game up to another level. Tony loves the live audience, right? It's helping us. But I want you to think about this. I know if in a moment here when I ask everybody in front of me, it's going to be a 50-50 split. Who here has this course, you at home as well, because something in your life is just off? You're not happy with the job. You're not happy with the career. You're not happy with the income. You're not happy with the time you have. You're not happy with the amount of heart you contribute or service you give back to the world or impact you're making on people? Who's here because you're moving away from something that's not so perfect in your life, right? So that's about half the hands, and I'm guessing half the people at home. Who's here because life's not bad, you're not in a rut, things aren't horrible, but you know you have more to give the world. You have more potential. Dale Carnegie said it the best. The biggest plight of the human race is knowing you have more potential and you're not utilizing it. Think about that. That applies to every single one of us that are watching. And all of you, if you're moving away from something, you still want to move towards something pleasurable, right? I want to get out of this situation I'm in, and then I want to go where I need to be and where I deserve to be. I want to be the woman God designed me to be, the man God put me on this earth to be. You're all here because you want to serve on a higher level. Listen, what I love about this group, this family that we've created in the Facebook group and online is none of you came because we said, how would you like to make $1 million in 7 minutes? None of you are here for that. You guys are here to learn a skill, a capability from people who have 60 plus years in this industry, a skill, a capability to enter a real industry that's exponentially growing where you can impact people's lives and the byproduct is success for you and your family at any scale you want. You can go from someone doing it on the side to someone you could take it all the way like so many people that you guys watch on a regular basis. Like, that's what makes this community so amazing. But we have to be honest with ourselves on where we are. So think about it. Where are you with complete honesty? And at any time, pause this and write it down. And you can do this now. We're talking about your career, your income, your business, right? That's why you're a part of this community. But this is something you should do in every area of your life. You should think about it. So, where are you with your finances? Where are you with your health? Where are you with your relationships? Where are you with your business? Where are you with your connection to a higher power or spirituality, right? If you think about this, we spend so much time running 100 miles an hour and sometimes looking at our to-do list and what we need to accomplish that we forget to really just stop and say, I'm meant for more. You see, I think, especially a group like this, we all are blessed. And I'm sure sometimes you're having a rough day and you go, you know what, damn it, I'm blessed. I should be grateful. I should feel better. I have a great place to live. I have a great family. What the hell's wrong with me for wanting more? Anybody ever have those feelings, right? It's okay to have those feelings. You are blessed. We're all blessed. 150,000 people don't make it every day. Google it. It's 150,000 people a day die. We didn't. We're here right now. We are absolutely blessed. We are here to fight to make this world a better place, to live another day, to be a next generation evolution of ourselves, all those things. Yes, we're blessed, but it doesn't mean you need to be satisfied. In fact, what is wrong with being disturbed with where you are? And I don't mean that you have to live in pain, but it's okay. You could be disturbed with inaction, disturbed with knowing that you have more gas in the tank and you're not utilizing. It's okay. It's like, Tony says this a lot. When you see a rocket take off, right? When a rocket takes off, the majority of the fuel is just get the rocket off the ground. Once it's out in space, it hits a little gas and goes 1,000 miles an hour, or however fast it goes, right? So we have to think through that lens and do whatever it takes to create this combustion, this energy to lift off, because a lot of times we'll think about our next level, we'll want our next level, we'll get the course, we'll get the training, but that moment you need to move forward courageously doesn't happen. And that's what this exercise does. So what I want you to think about right now, pause this at any time you want, is where are you in your life, in your health, your finances, your relationship, your business, right this very minute. And no one has to see this besides you. And in fact, in your course, you could download your forms and fill this out. I mean, you could even take it to another level and make it like a wheel, right? I've seen this. Tony's done this for years. Other people have done this for years. You make a wheel and you draw relationships and income and career and happiness, and you make it a wheel and you see what the spoke looks like, right? Because you might be amazing in relationship, amazing in health. Ooh, my career. And you get this wheel that's got V's in it and you wonder why your life is bumpy, right? And we have to pay attention to those spots. So where are you is, with complete honesty, is your starting point for your GPS on where we're going to go.
Hello. So my name is Raf, one of the trainers over here at Mastermind. and I'm going to be guiding you through some of our success work. And guess what time it is? So what I want you to do right now is just take a pause for a minute. I want you to take a look at the worksheet that we have, and I want you to very honestly take an inventory of where you are right now. So, what's going on in your life? What is really happening right now? And what do you think that you might need to make a breakthrough to the next stage, to the next chapter? And I can tell you a little bit about myself because I started off as a student of Dean and Tony's. So just like you watching a course, that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. And I remember taking an honest inventory of where I was. And I actually had a great career. I worked in the advertising industry. I worked in Manhattan for this really big company. So I had a good career, but I was really unfulfilled in my life. And I always wanted to start a business of my own. I always wanted to be a coach. But I had some limiting beliefs holding me back. I had some fears holding me back, right? What if this doesn't work out? And also, I was waiting for the right time. And I can tell you after a lot of soul searching and just a lot of living my life, I've realized there really never is a right time if you want to do something. The right time is just always right now. But I didn't realize that at the time. So I had to take an honest inventory of where I was in my life, what was holding me back. So what I want you to do right now is just pause this video for a moment and go head over to the worksheet and give yourself a little bit of an honest inventory of where you are in your life right now, and then come right back because Dean has some more incredible stuff for you. So take a pause and we'll see you back here in a minute.
Now, if you know where you are, the next piece is, where is it? If it was a year from now and it was the best year of your life, what does that look like? Where do you want to go? And I want to talk through that. You see, most people, and you can take my word for it, or you can have an experiment over the next 2 weeks. Over the next 2 weeks, ask 10 people, randomly, 10 people in your life, and say, where is it you want to go? What's your dreams in life? Where are you going? Better yet, let's reverse it. Start this way. Ask 10 people what they don't want. Say, what's not working in your life? What do you not want out of life? Where do you not want to go? And watch people unload. Watch people, oh my God, my boss. Oh my God, my career. Oh my God, my time. Oh, my husband's just not on my team. Oh. And we'll just go 100 miles an hour. And then stop them abruptly and say, okay, I see what you don't want out of life. What is it that you do want? Where do you want to go? I will give you the prediction that 8 or 9 out of 10 will go, wow, good question. Or, let me think about that. Or, I don't know. So think about that. 8 out of 10, I've been doing this for decades. 8 out of 10 people will pause, hesitate, and not know where they want to go. That means most of the world is focusing on what they don't want. They're just driving down a road avoiding potholes, but they have no destination. Right? And how do we get to where we want to go when we have no compelling future on where we're supposed to be going? Right? So I know this sounds simplistic, and I know maybe you've heard it before, but I want to go a little deeper on this because most of the world doesn't know this. And just by this exercise, you will be ahead of most people because we all need a compelling future because things are going to go sideways. People are going to doubt you. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to have things go wrong. And this is the exercise that gets you back on track. So I want you to think about this. Tony loves to say, what we can focus on is always available. We can focus on what we don't have. We can focus on what could go wrong at any moment. But we could also focus on what we do have, and we can focus on what could go right? And I want to tell you this story of my partner and ex-partner and dear friend. I love this guy. His name is Ethan. Ethan Willis, great human. And Ethan is a church leader, a leader in his company. He's got 8 children. I have no idea. I have 3. I don't know how he does 8, but he's amazing. And not only is he a father of 8, with his church, he'll take kids and groups and go do these great activities. And he told me a story one time of how he took 15 to 17-year-old boys, him and a bunch of dads, and they took them whitewater rafting in Colorado. Now, I don't know much about whitewater rafting, but I know they have rapids are like a 1 to a 5, right? 1 being obviously little rapids, 5 being crazy, right? So he's responsible for all these kids and a bunch of other dads, and they get to whitewater rafting. They travel up to Colorado. They get there. It rains all night. They get out the next day, and he said the whitewater was like crazy, and they were like, oh no, this isn't going to work. And I guess they were a 4 out of 5. Some areas a 5 out of 5. The rapids were crazy. So they're like, we can't do this. And all of a sudden the guide comes out. And the guide comes out and says, dads, I see you're nervous. Don't worry, we got this. Boys, get in the boat. I'll give you a little lesson as soon as we get on the river. So he said they get in the boat, they're in nervous wreck, and they're in kind of the quiet before the storm. And he said, this guy says, boys, I've been doing this for a long time, and I have to tell you, I kind of screwed up in the beginning. Because in the beginning, I would say, hey, look, there's a tree that's down. Everybody, let's steer away from that tree. And he would point to the tree, and he said the whole boat would look at the tree, and they'd run right into it and flip over. Or he'd say, hey, look at that rapid. We got to stay away from that. Or that rock, let's avoid that rock. And he said the power of where I was pointing, oh my God, everybody would go there and we'd flip over. And he said, then I finally got a little smarter. And I realized that this could be the positive point, the power of the positive point. He said, boys, I tell you how we're going to be fine. When we go down the river, when you see me point, I don't want you guys to look in any direction except where I'm pointing. And you paddle your guts out to get where I'm pointing, and I promise we'll never hit a rock. We'll never hit that rapid that flips us over. We'll never hit the down tree. And he said that positive point, the boys just all got it. They'd go in that tree, and he'd say, guys, we're going there. And he said all of them would just look. And they'd just look, and they'd get over there. He goes, sometimes we were probably 3 inches away from hitting that rock, or 3 inches away from hitting that tree. But they weren't focused on the tree. They were focused on where we were supposed to go. Now, I know that sounds so simplistic, but how many times in life are we focusing on where we don't want to go? And in fact, we run into it over and over. Did you ever see those stories where on this long stretch of road, there's like one tree? Like nothing on this whole road, and there's one tree, and the tree's got all kinds of scars on it from cars hitting that one tree. And I know there's research behind it. Somebody's driving down, it's wintertime, and they start sliding. They go, oh, there's that one tree. Oh my God, look at that one tree. Boom, they hit the one tree. How does that happen? They could have went in a whole bunch of spots. It's because they stared at that. So how do we fix that? We work on a compelling future. We work on staring where we want to go. I have a good friend that helps people lose weight. And he had this woman who was a busy executive, and she was just trying to get back to her ideal weight. And that's all of us what we should wish for is our ideal weight, not what the world thinks ideal is, what we think ideal is, right? So he made her find a picture of her in her ideal weight because she just couldn't do it. She was busy, she couldn't take the time, and he blew it up to life size, and he put it in her kitchen. And every day she woke up and she went in the kitchen, and there she was at her ideal weight. It took her 30 to 45 days, she was back. Because why? She stared at it every day. She focused on where she wanted to go. She could not avoid it. She couldn't look away, right? She didn't want to look in the mirror and go, oh, I don't want to be this person anymore. She looked at who she wanted to be and reminded her and got her back there, right? I could give a million analogies. I know they teach race car drivers, NASCAR drivers, when they get in a spin, don't stare at the wall, you'll run into it. Stare at the clearing, right? Over and over again, this is the way to your next level. So I want to program this in your mind, especially after what you learned from Tony and what you're going to go through. Throughout this entire course, you could focus on why it won't work or why it will. You can focus on the best version of you or the person who messed up in the past. You could focus on the warrior that lives in you, or you can focus on the procrastinator that lives in you, right? I'm going to give you one last thing. My son is really good at baseball, and he's been good for a long time, but now he's 12. Half the kids went through puberty, half didn't. My boy didn't. He's little. Some of the kids are 5'10", weigh 160 pounds on his team. They're like men. I always joke, I'm like, those boys drove here, right? And my son plays second base, and he's like, Dad, it's getting faster and faster. He's like, what if I miss it? What if I get up and the kid throws so fast that he strikes me out? I'm like, man, that would suck. I know. And if you focus on that, bud, this is how I talked to him. I said, if you focus on that, bud, that's probably what's going to happen. But what if you tricked your mind and before you got up to bat, you go, what do you think? Throw me your fastest fastball. Is this all you got? Come on, please, I got this. And I hope he throws it faster. I said, when you get at second base, hope for a line drive, hope for a one-hopper, those really tough ones. I said, the more you hope for it, the more you get in that space. And literally the last game, he was in the car and he's like, I hope. And he got up and he just had a different swag. He had a different way he got up. He got back in his old stance. He didn't back out when the ball came in at 65 miles an hour. He didn't step back. He was like, okay, I got this. When he got out in the field, he had a different stance. And I'm like, bud, I'm so proud of you. What's the difference? He's like, man, I wanted it. I didn't get enough balls hit to me. I'm like, thank God he got it, right? What changed? Were the kids throwing slower? Did they get smaller? Did they change in age? Nothing. The only thing that changed was his focus and where his positive point was, right? Okay, I went in that long enough, but now that we got that dialed in or kind of anchored in, and I said it a lot, I want you to think about how do we get that compelling future? How do we anchor in that place that we stare at? The thing that we sell ourselves on every single day. The biggest sales job we have to do in the world is on ourselves. But we got to sell ourselves on the compelling future so when things go wrong. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pretend it's a year from now. We're back here celebrating, and it was the best year of your life. I don't want you to think what you're going to accomplish. I want you to start writing down what the best year of your life looks like. If it was the best year of your life, what do you look like when you see yourself in the mirror? What's your relationship like? What's your income like? How many courses are you selling on a weekly basis? How many masterminds are you selling? How many people in your workshop? How many people in your community? What's it feel like? How much is the check that you're cashing on a weekly basis? How many people's lives are you impacting? When we look back from our future, it gives us a different framework. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have a really tough time setting goals looking forward. Think about it. Think about when this is driving us crazy, when our current jobs and our current family, while we're fitting something in new, this technology is amazing, but it's also created the busiest time of our lives. We've never gotten more done in a day than ever before in history than we do now. Think about how fast and rapid things are coming at us. And we're supposed to set goals. Some days we're just happy to put our head on the pillow and go, oh my God, I made it through today. I'm still alive. Thank you. Hallelujah. Like you just want to go to sleep so you could start fresh again, right? So how do you fit in these goals? It's not always easy, but it's different. It's different when you pretend it's a year from now and you're looking back and you pretend in your mind that these things had already happened. Did you ever have those days where you're feeling like you're in flow state? You just feel amazing and you walk in a room and people could just tell. Somebody comes up and they're just like, or you see someone else come in a room and you're like, oh my God, did she do her hair over? Did she go on vacation? She got a new relationship in her life? Like what's going on with her? She's looking amazing. You know that feeling? Like you could put yourself in that zone right now where you could persuade anybody to do anything. You would ask for anything you wanted in life. You wouldn't be afraid to speak up. We can put ourselves in that state at any time we want. So what I'd encourage you to do, you can do it right now if you want, is stop this tape. Stop the tape. You could tell how old I am. Stop this video, right? Stop this video right now. And I want you to pretend it's 1 year from today. And just start thinking, this has been the best year of my life. What had to happen? What's going on? How much am I making? What am I looking like? When I look in the mirror, what do I see? I know I share this, but I want you just to get in flow state and just start writing down. How much money are you making? What kind of lives are you impacting? Are you sharing? Are you helping people sing better, get through a tough time, find love again? Are you teaching people to sell, better at IT, better at finding the woman they were supposed to be, or balancing being a mom, a wife, a leader, a parent, or a husband, right? Whatever it is, whatever niche you're going to be sharing, or you are sharing, what would be the best year of your life? And stop and just write down. Don't think about it. And you could do it in your relationships, in your finances, in your business, in your health, and anything you want. And then what I want you to do is just write without thinking. Put yourself in that state. Find that little bit of flow state, write it down, and then go back and circle the top ones. So anytime, stop the video and do that exercise.
Hey, welcome back. And guess what? It is that time again. We're going to do a little bit of work right now. So we took an honest inventory not too long ago of where you are right now. And hey, I was very honest with you. I told you all the things that were going through my mind when I was in the same position as you. And it's incredible because I can still remember sitting on the couch and listening to Dean and Tony go through their course. So I want you to really internalize that because I was where you were and I was able, thankfully, to create a really successful business. And now here I am helping to guide you through your journey. So I couldn't be more excited for you. I can't tell you how important all of this information is. This course is going to give you the tools that you need to start to bring that dream to life. Now I want you to ask yourself, what does that dream look like for you? I want you to outline what your best year is. And I can tell you, for me, I'm living it right now. I have an opportunity to just wake up and do what I love for a living. I have an opportunity to serve individuals just like yourself, helping people to bring their dreams to life. That was always my dream. And after going through the course with Dean and Tony and continuing to learn, I was finally able to bring that to life. So I want you to get really excited because when you go after your goals, when you truly go after them with everything that you have in your heart, you can absolutely bring them to life. So I want you right now just to let go of everything, just to let go of your thoughts and just get in the flow and just put down what that year looks like. And just keep writing, just keep letting it flow. And then go back, and I want you to highlight and circle some of those areas that stand out to you as the most exciting parts of your best year. And I can tell you mine, I just did. Waking up every day, doing something that I love, and serving other people, making an impact in this world. When I wrote out a long time ago what my vision was for my life and my vision and my business, that's what stood out for me. So what stands out for you? So take a moment, pause, write down your 1-year goals. What does that absolute amazing year look like for you? What did you accomplish? What did you do? What hurdles did you overcome? Maybe you overcame some limiting beliefs, some fears. Maybe you got your first client ever. You made your first sale. Maybe you made your 10th or your 100th. What does that look like for you? So write that all down. Go ahead and circle those highlights, the best parts of that year, and then hurry up and come back because we have some more amazing stuff in store for you. So go get to work on your success work, and we'll see you back here soon.
The only way to get to where we want to go is to lay out our compelling future. I love to tell this story, this little analogy, because I need these in my head because we're all so busy, is in the East Coast, the Northeast, there's the beautiful lighthouses. Sometimes if you Google lighthouses, I think they're beautiful, right? And lighthouses used to help the fishermen come back from sea through the fog and know where to go and direct them, either direct them away from the rocks or where they need to come into. And I feel we all need a lighthouse, and that's our compelling future. Once you craft it, I feel we need to take our lighthouse and put it out in front of us and stare at it every single day. If you have to stare at your compelling future every day for the next 60 days, do it. And then twice a week, and then once a week, and then once a month. Most people set goals and where they want to go on January 5th, 3rd, 2nd, and they don't look at them for a whole year and they wonder why they didn't work. We need to sell ourselves, remind ourselves about those goals every single day, our lighthouse. And here's the thing. You've already passed some of your original goals in life. You've already have. Sometimes we have to get to our lighthouse and go, I'm here. You got to create a new compelling future, and you got to put the lighthouse out 100 feet in front of you. You got to work your tail off to get there again. And when you get there, what do you got to do? Get your new compelling future and stare at it every day. Because listen, the first thing might be putting your oxygen mask on, right? I love this analogy, getting your oxygen mask on. But once you're secure, what's next? What cause are you going to donate money to? What people are you going to take care of in your life that need you? You're going to retire your parents, your family, your friends, take care of someone who can't work anymore? help a cause that needs to be shifted in this country and in this world? I don't know what it is, but you do. So if we have a compelling enough future, we get our oxygen mask on and then we can fix shit. We can help people, take care of that next level. But we got to get ourselves secure first. And if we don't get in the right state of mind, we'll start blaming other people. We'll look for other people to help us. There's no one coming to save us. There's no one coming to wave a magic wand and fix things. As much as it seems nice, it ain't happening. It's never happened in history. If we want things to change, we got to change. We want to change the economy in the world, we got to change the economy in our homes. We want to change race and all the other things that need to be fixed. We need to step up and do it ourselves and set the example to make the change for the world. It's the same with business. We want this to work. Let's take the responsibility, because when we shift, it's contagious. And we get to be a group of people that could be role models and leaders to make that change. So I went off for a second, but first off, we want to know where we are with complete honesty. The second thing is knowing where we want to go, our compelling future. If you lay that out, you will be ahead of 98% of the world. I'm telling you, I've done this for decades. People don't know where they want to go. They're just avoiding what they don't want, and they just find more of it. Now, here's the third part. If we know where we are, we know where we want to go, the next part is, why do you want it? Why are you here? Why'd you buy this course? Why do you want to start something new or scale in this industry? Why? If I said right now in your home, who'd like financial freedom? If you're here live, let me know who'd like financial freedom, right? If you're home, write it down. Of course everybody wants financial freedom, and it's a great cause, because I know most of you, every entrepreneur I've ever met or someone who's created success, the majority of them, and I mean the majority of them, get to a point where they realize, I just want to give it all back. I want to change the world. And that's what I'm going to believe. And if some people aren't that way, that's okay. That's their issue. They have to deal with that. But I love spreading that word, because here's what I know. I watch so many people fight, and their oxygen mask is on, and they start helping out in a big way. And we could all do that. But let me just ask you, is financial freedom enough? Has it been enough to get you through tough times? Has it gotten you through when things go sideways, when people don't believe in you, when you're working 2 jobs to make ends meet, when something happens in your family, when the person you thought had your back doesn't, when someone you thought was there for you said something behind your back? Is financial freedom enough to keep you moving forward? How about when the first time you try, it goes sideways, or you're trying social media and you only have 10 followers after 15 days? Is financial freedom enough to keep you going? It's not. This is where we have to go from our heads to our heart. So I want to tell you a little story that changed my life. And if you ever heard this story, I'm glad, and I want you to hear it again, and I want you to do this process with me. About well over a decade ago, I hired a consultant named Joe Stump. Amazing dude, still a friend of mine. And I hired Joe because I wanted my students to have more results. I was teaching people how to invest in real estate, and I knew what I was teaching worked, but a lot of people gave up before they really got into the game. So I hired him because he was really good at engagement, getting people to take action. When he was coming, I thought he was going to give me this tactical strategy on, this is the 4 steps to getting more engagement. And I was waiting for that, right? I'll teach throughout this entire course, you'll see the science and art of things. The science is more the technical side, the art are the motions behind it, right? It's kind of downstream and upstream. You're going to get a lot of that throughout this entire course. So when he came, I thought he was going to give me this tactical thing, and he said, have you ever done the 7 levels deep? And I'm like, nope. I'm like, but if it's great, give it to me. And he said, no, I want to go through it with you. And I'm sitting with my team, and I'm like, just give it to me, man. I'm a fast learner, and I want to give it to my team. He said, no, the only way I'll share this with you is if you go through it. I'm like, okay, fine. So he starts with, and you have a tool, you have a 7 levels deep tool in your course that you could print out and go along, and you could pause this and do it anytime you want. I'm going to encourage you. Remember, this is a tool you need to go through. It shifted my life fundamentally, and it's also a tool you can use in the future in your courses, your trainings, anything that you do. This is a tool that works in any single niche or genre you're going to be in. So he says to me, why did you hire me? Now, he was $10,000 for the day back then, and that was a lot of money to spend. The truth is, I never paid him because he said, you're great at this. How about I consult for you for half a day, then you consult for me for the other half, and we'll call it a wash. It was a great $10,000 savings. I was good. So I sit down, I'm like, okay, Joe, let's do the 7 levels deep. Tell me about it. And he said, I'm going to ask you questions, and we're going to go through it together. And he did it in a really specific way. And he said, okay, so why were you going to pay $10,000 for me to consult for a day? And I remember it was easy. I said, I want my students to have more results. He said, oh, very noble. Very noble. I love it. And he said, okay. And he wrote it down. Students having results. Students, results. Okay, I got it. So let me ask you, Dean. I asked you why you would hire me. You said students, results. Why is it important that your students get results? And I was like, okay. Because I believe in this end. I want this industry to step up. And I'd already been working with Tony, and I knew he felt the same way. And people in this industry, they have to step up or step out. So let's raise the standards. He's like, oh, that's good. And that came from my head. He's like, oh, so you want to raise the standards? Okay, so I asked you why you would pay me, and you said you want your students to get more results. And then I asked you why that was important. You said you want to raise the standards of this industry. Why is it important you want to raise the standards of this industry? I'm like, okay. And I'm still in my head, guys. I'm still in here. And I'm like, because I want to leave a legacy. Oh, that's a big one, right? Legacy. Boom, big word. I said, I want to leave a legacy. He's like, wow, really great. Now, I have to tell you something. This is over a decade ago. I don't remember what the next level was. I really don't. He asked me why I wanted to leave a legacy, and I said something out of my brain, out of my thoughts. I want to tell you why this is so important. But then he got to level 3, and he asked me why the previous answer. And I felt something change in my body. I felt my physiology, my body just shifted. And I felt it go from almost like a thud. I felt it go from here to my heart. And I literally, out of my mouth, something just spat out that I'd never said before. And I said, I never want to go backwards, Joe. I never said those words out loud ever. And I started thinking about my mom working 3 jobs to make $90 a week and coming home at 10 o'clock at night, tired as heck. And I hated that she just looked tired. And she'd fall asleep on the couch. And me and my sister would make lunches and dinners, and we'd do the laundry, and we helped her, but we could never support her. And then we were living in a trailer. I mean, thank God my grandparents helped us sometimes. That's a true story. My dad, great guy, I love him to death, but he never helped us as a kid. He didn't help my mom. He was unhappy with the divorce, and it was a different time. And, I know he regrets it, and he's a great guy, and everything's good now. But anyway, all of those emotions came flooding back about not wanting to go backwards and what it felt like to not have things. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that I'd drive by a fancy restaurant and be like, someday I could go there, or watching my mom struggle, or, have to be a latchkey kid. And it just all came flooding to me, and I was in a different space. I have to be honest. I was getting emotional. It was in my heart, and I'm like, holy crap, mate. This guy's onto something, this Joe Stump guy with this 7 levels. Holy crap. I'm like, I didn't need 7, 5, I'm good. I don't want to go backwards. And he says, well, Dean, I know I could tell you're in a different space. He said, but it's not 5 levels deep, it's 7 levels deep. So I have to ask you again, why is it important to you that you not go backwards? And another answer popped out of my mouth that I never said before. I said, I want my kids to have choices. And I could get emotional right now if you're a parent. You know what I mean? And I've said this before, and I want you to hear this. I don't want to raise 2 entitled kids. The last thing this world needs is 2 more entitled brats, like that grow up into adults waiting for someone else to take care of their lives. That's not what I mean. I just felt so the opposite of having choices as a child, right? I just moved so much and things, I just didn't have, I just want my kids, I want to be in a place where I can help my kids start a business, not just give them money. I give you my word, I am not leaving my kids a big stack of money. I will give it all away before I make them trust fund kids who go out and just do terrible things in the world and not contribute. They will be 2 human beings, there are 3 human beings that want to contribute to the world, and if they do, I'll hand the baton off to them, and they can continue to run the relay race. If they're not the type that want to hand the baton, if they think I'm just going to hand them the race, the winning thing, it'll all go to charity. But I had this emotion of, I want my kids to have choices. And by then I have tears coming out of my eyes, and my team's there. And I'm like, oh my God, I found it. This was my why. And again, Joe said, it's the 7 levels deep, Dean, not the 6 levels deep. So I got to ask you, why do you want your kids to have choices? And I want to tell you, I could still get emotional right now. Like I broke down in tears. It was in my heart. And I said something in that very moment, I knew why I had worked so hard my whole life. I knew why I was pushing forward, even though I had no sign it would work. I wasn't the smartest kid in school. I had dyslexia. I didn't go to college. I didn't have money. Who the hell did I think that I could be successful? I didn't have any right to be successful. I used to go to school without lunch money and tell my friends I wasn't hungry because my dad didn't have any money, or he'd give me pennies and nickels, and there's no way I'm pulling out pennies and nickels out of a big wad in my pants to pay for lunch and look like a fool, so I just wouldn't eat. How was I able to become successful? And what was the difference? What drove me? And all of that came flooding back to my mind. And I said something that I'll still remember. I'll remember to the day I die. I said, I want to be in control. And when I said that, I was sobbing. And I don't mean like control freak. I just know this. My parents were married 9 times when I was a kid. 5 from my mom, 4 from my dad. I moved 20 times by the time I was 19. I had 0 control. I'd move in with my stepdad, Lenny Rizzo. I still remember this day. God rest his soul. He's not with us anymore. What an amazing dude. Just a great guy. And his father was like he was a step grandfather to me, but he took on the role of the grandfather. And I'd go fishing. We went pheasant hunting and did all these cool things with this guy, this new grandpa that like was a cool dude, like nothing negative, all positive. And come home one day and you're not in control. Mom and Lenny aren't together anymore. We're moving. It's like, oh, back to grandma's house and then this rented house. And what about my bike? Oh no, Lenny bought you that bike. It's got to stay at the house. All right, I'm going to move in with my dad. Oh, my dad's on his second wife. She doesn't really like kids. You got to move out again. All right, I'll move in with my grandmother. Okay, I just was never in control. And all of that came flooding back, not saying poor me, guys. This is not poor me. I believe in what Tony says, life happens for us, not to us. That was making me the man I am today. I wouldn't be the man I am today without that. But I was so out of control as a child that at that very moment, I saw why I worked so hard. When things went sideways, when I had no proof, when I had to be courageous, when I didn't have the money, when I had to be resourceful, is because I'm going to be in control. Listen, at this phase of my life, control means to me that every day at 3 o'clock, 99% of the time, I pick my kids up from school when they're with me, my older kids. I get them half the time. At 3 o'clock, I am waiting outside to pick them up. Every single morning they're with me. I get up early and I make them breakfast because I want to sit with them and eat, and I just feel amazing. I make them their lunch. This morning, as I'm filming this morning at 6:45, I made both my kids lunches and drew them little notes. That's control to me. That might not be something exciting to you, and that's okay, but that's me. I know when they open their lunch, they know their dad made it. I didn't have a maid or assistant or someone do it. That just means something to me, right? I have a lot of people do a lot of things for me, but not that. I'm not outsourcing that part. Me, I'm in the love of my life. I love my wife more than anything, and I grow more in love with her every single day, but that takes work. What's success mean to me? That I'm that man that keeps growing to make that woman look at me the way she does every day. She looks at me like I'm candy and she hasn't had dessert in a month. I want to be that guy in her life every single day, and it doesn't go by me being lazy. It's me spending the time, effort, and energy to be a good man, to grow as a human so she could see my heart and know that I'm there for her, and she could trust me on anything that I do, right? That's important. That's success to me. No one's going to tell me how to dress. I wear a gray t-shirt every single day of my life. I just do because I want to. I live where I want. I travel when I want. If I want to take off in the middle of the day and go grab my kids out of school, I don't care about school either. Like, I just don't, because at the end of their life, they get great grades, but they're going to miss out on experiences. So if I want to grab them and jump on a plane and go someplace and have an experience, I do. And what I realized in that moment is I fought for that control. And I knew my deepest level of why. Because listen, when stuff goes sideways, and it does, you want bigger success, you got to take on bigger problems. When people let you down, the money's not there, the deal goes sideways, the platform changes how they do it, the new marketing's not working anymore. If you go, well, I got to keep doing this because I want financial freedom and I want to build a legacy and I want to do this, that's all good in here. But that's not strong enough to get through the brick wall or the things go sideways. Do you think anything on this planet could stop me from wanting to not go backwards, to making sure my kids have choices, and to be in control of my time? There is nothing that could stop me. So what I'm going to encourage you to do at any time is stop this video and go through the 7 levels deep. And if you have someone in your life, you could do it as an accountability partner. Have them do it with you, and then you do it with them. If you don't have someone, do it on your own. I have to tell you, I have to go a little deeper on this, but I did this for about 5 years straight, once a month with a crowd. I was invited to speak in Las Vegas every month for 5 years. I flew in, I'd speak, I'd leave. And I did this every single month. And every month I would bring someone up on stage and go through the 7 levels. And if somebody read my book or watched me do a video, some people would already know it and they thought they had the punchline, right? If somebody was new, I could take them through this journey. And I'm just being honest. About 80% of the people broke down in tears when they got to 5, 6, or 7. And it was like clockwork. I knew it was coming. And sometimes I couldn't get people out of their head until that last question. And finally, they'd break through and I'd watch this emotional shift. But I have to remember, like every week, every month, I'd have these great people come up. And I remember this dude. He was 6'4", big dude. He had dreadlocks, good looking guy. He comes up on stage, he picks me up like literally off my feet and dangled me. I'm only like 5'7" on a good day. And he's like dangling me and he sits down and I said, "You want to do the 7 levels deep?" He's like, "Yes, I do." And then right before I start, he goes, "But I want to tell you, you're not going to get me because I know this 7 levels deep. I've already done it. It changed my life." I'm like, oh, damn. Like, I like the shock value, you know? I want everybody to see this transformation. But I decided to do it anyway. And I said, "Okay, man, why are you here? Why'd you cut a big old check to be in this room, to learn from everybody who's here?" He's like, "I'm telling you, I know." He said, "Because when I grew up, there was no dads in my neighborhood. They just weren't there. And we all grew up with moms. And I miss that dad influence in my life, and I know boys in that neighborhood are. So I started a charity with the money I'm making. I started a charity, got other people involved, and we go back and we're putting men in this community to help be, examples for these young men." He goes, "That's why I'm doing it." And man, what a noble cause. I could feel his heart. He's smiling from ear to ear, right? And I could see it and I feel it. I'm like, man, this guy did do the work. That's an amazing why. And I said, "Why is that important to you?" And he told me another reason. He said, "Why is that important to you?" And something like legacy. That's important to me. And he just had it. Big old smile. Like, I just remember this guy. And his big smile, and he's looking at me, and he's laughing. And all of a sudden, I don't know if I got to the 5th or the 6th or the 7th question, and I watched him stop. And he got really serious. And I watched his face change. And I watched that part. I have goosebumps on my face right now as I'm sharing this because I could live that moment of watching this transformation for this man. And he said, "Wow, Dean." He said, "That's not why I'm doing it." He said, "My mom raised me as a single mom. My dad bailed before I was born. She was an amazing woman." And he said, "She did everything for me." And he said, when she died, you know what she saw? Her son being a drug addict. She goes, "When she died, I was a drug addict." Because the day she died, I stopped. And I've been on this mission ever since." And he said, "I just realized why I'm doing this." He said, "She watches me every day from heaven. And she knows she could be proud of her son, that I'm doing what she taught me to do. And I'm making an impact on the world." I get emotional sharing it right now because I watched the emotions in this man's face. Do you think anything could stop that man? Do you think any bad day, I feel like I'm an imposter, my husband doesn't believe in me, I didn't make my first sale in the first 2 weeks of doing this course is a little tough to go through. Do you think any of that would stop that man when he thinks about being the man his mom raised him to be? If he talks about just the charity, it could be a little tough. If he talks about just being the legacy, you might give up and put it off to next week. But the reason this is so important to me and the reason I'm taking the time to share this today, I know you had Tony taken through an amazing journey, is I want you guys to have this depth of why in your heart where it brings goosebumps to your face, where it brings emotions, because stuff's going to go sideways. People are going to let you down. You're going to doubt yourself. But man, when you have a why like this, it doesn't matter. If there's a brick wall, a steel wall, and a glass wall, you'll chew through one, you'll dig under the other one, and you'll break that glass wall. An okay why, you're like, "Oh, that's kind of tall. It's kind of a busy day. I'll come back to it." We only have this one life. At least that's what we know of. And all I know at the end of mine, I want to just be able to say I went after it. I failed. I fell down. But I got up and kept going after it, and I squeezed all the life, all the juice out of this life it had to offer. And these are the little things that can do that now, so we don't have to look back when we're 100 years old with any regrets. So I hope you really felt that. I'm going to share one more quick one. It'll take me 3 minutes, but I remember this woman. This one stood out too. It's been a decade probably. And she stood up and you could tell she was successful and you could tell she was a strong woman. And listen, I really love the fact that the majority of people in our course, and men, you better step up, are women. I love this fact because I watched my mom struggle and I know the strength she had. And I'm just such an advocate for women. Again, watching your mom struggle, and my grandmother raised me most of my life, it just helped me put in this framework. So this woman comes up on stage and she's just a badass, and I know she's just gonna wreck it. And she comes up and she's in her head and she says this one and that one, and I wanna do this. And a lot of people look down on me because I was this. And man, she got to like 7 or 8. And I'm not saying this is ideal, but I knew it triggered her. And she got to the 6th or 7th question and she stopped. And she's like, God damn it, you got me. That's how she said it. She goes, God damn it, you got me. I thought I had this figured out. She said a decade ago, I didn't deserve this, but I was kind of in a different place, and I was a different woman, and I was relying on my ex. He still should have never have said the things he said, but he left, and on his way out the door, you know what he said? You're a loser, and you always will be. And she said, screw him. I make 3 times as much as he makes. I'm happier. I'm in an amazing relationship. And he's the loser now. Now, I'm not saying that's good, but she found that reason why it was driving her. And later on, I ended up talking to her, and she said, now that I know what drove me, I can let that why go. And I'm replacing it with being the best mom, the best wife to my current husband, and rocking this industry. She replaced her old why that was driving her that she didn't know with a new one. Listen, we all have that thing hidden in here, and I'm okay with exposing it. I'm okay if it gets the rocket off the ground, if that's the why that drives you to finish this course, to take action, to take uncomfortable action, to take courageous action, enough where you keep marketing, keep doing the deal, keep going far after you get your first sale, 10th sale, 100th sale, until this becomes the thing where you're impacting lives and creating nonstop revenue. If that's what it takes to keep the momentum, that's okay. I know that gentleman, when he thinks about his mom, is never going to go up. I know her when she used to think about her ex calling her a loser and she never amounted to anything, that she kept going. You can replace it at any time if it's not a completely healthy thing. But having that purpose in your heart changes everything.
Hello and welcome back. I hope you're really enjoying this section. Right now, we're going to dive into one of my favorite exercises. This is 7 levels deep. And I'm going to tell you, before you dive into this, I'm going to tell you just a little story about myself. Because when I purchased Dean and Tony's course way back when, years ago, I did this same exercise. And I told you a little bit about my journey already. I had a good career. I worked in advertising. Life wasn't all that bad for me, other than the fact that I felt unfulfilled in the work that I was doing. And because I had such a good career, sometimes it wasn't so easy for me to continue to push to build my business. Why? Because I already had a good career. I already had a good income. But when I went through this exercise, it completely changed my life. I remember walking upstairs, and I went into my bedroom and I laid down and I was staring at the ceiling, and I was so bothered. And my wife looks over to me and she said, "What's the matter with you?" And I said, "I have to do this. I have to do this. I can't live this life anymore. I need to pursue my passion. This is my mission in life." I found out at a really deep and granular level why this work that I'm doing right now was so important to me. And when you really anchor yourself in your why, going after your dream becomes really easy when you have something propelling you. So I want you right now just to get really excited about this. When you get to the heart of your why, you start to become unstoppable. So I'm really, really excited. I hope you have a transformation when you go through this exercise, just like I did. So go ahead, you're gonna pause this video right now. Go have your transformation. Go figure out what drives you. Go ahead and fill out the worksheet and head right back because, well, like I said before, we have a ton more in store for you. So go ahead to your success work, and we'll see you back here in a few.
Okay, the last part of this clarity tool is if we know where we are with complete honesty, if we know where we want to go with clarity, it's a year from now, it's the best year of your life, you know where you want to go, then you have your lighthouse. If you know where you want to go with clarity, then you have your lighthouse on where you want to go, one that you could stare at every single day. So if you know where you are and you know where you want to go, the piece that most people miss is the emotion behind it. We don't always remember people's names, but we always remember how people make us feel, don't we? What moves us is emotions. Tony teaches that better than any human alive. So this gets you the emotion to keep fueling going forward. Melanie, I see you're here with us right now. I know the emotions you had to drive you from where you were to where you want to go. You went through things none of us could imagine. There's no way you could have made it until you've attached yourself to an emotion, to a heart, to a destination that you knew took where you are right now to the level that your family deserves. And that's the same with you home. We're going to get into all the tactics and strategies to make this thing real. But without this drive, we don't want you to give up. Especially, a silly metaphor, but how many of us give up when we're just moments away from the score, moments away from finally breaking through? We've done it too much. We don't want that to happen in this course. That's why so many people graduate this course. That's why we have more success than anything we've ever seen. Keep this emotion. The last part, we know where we are, where we want to go. We know the emotion behind it. The last part is how are you going to get there? And that is the capabilities to make it real. So what I want to share is you have them. That's what this course is for that one little area of your life, right? For the area of your life of starting or scaling or taking advantage of the self-education revolution, making sure you're in front of that wave of this industry heading towards $1 billion a day. What do you need if you're on one side of the ravine and you want to get to the other? If the other side is your success in the knowledge industry, this is the bridge. This course, you have it. Now it's time to go through it. And extract what you need, to take uncomfortable action. And here's the part I want to share. If you look at the most successful people in the world, it's not all about the resources. It's about the resourcefulness, isn't it? Why do people hit lotto and go broke? They have the resources. Shouldn't they just continue to build wealth? No, because they had resources without the resourcefulness. Know that what we've built throughout this entire program is the resources that we know, but you have to apply your resourcefulness. And if there's a little gap, go find it. Don't go, oh, I don't know how to do that one thing. I'm just going to sit here until somebody comes, downloads it into my head, and I figure it out. No, because a year will go by like that. 5 years will go by like that. So the last part is always gain the capabilities you need to build that bridge from someone who's already been there, and you guys have done it. And here's the cool part. You guys are going to be doing it for other people. You are the bridge for other people, right? How cool is it to know that there's somebody starting off in an experience that you've already been through in most cases, and you can allow them to go faster? That's the business we're in. That's the blessing we get to do for a living. Somebody's trying to figure out something you already know or you already learned, and you get to be their bridge. Guys, that's the evolution. That is the amazing opportunity it is to be in this industry. And I know just from our statistics, about 35% of you watching are already in this industry, and you're going to gain the capabilities to go faster. Another up to about 85%, 90% are been dabbling kind of in and out, thinking about it, wanting to know about it. And about 10% of you had no idea you were going to do this. You saw it and you're like, hell yes, I'm in. I didn't even know this was an industry. But it doesn't matter where you are. This course is designed for all of you. This course is designed to take the person that never thought about this and get them in it. And it's also designed for those in it to go faster and quicker. So at the end of this little part here, if you know where you are, you know where you want to go, you know why you want it, and you know how to get the capabilities to go from where you are to where you want to be to build the bridge, you have all the ingredients. There's nothing missing. So lastly, before we go into this last section, I want you to think about this. This is a tool that I hope you went through. This is a tool that's in the toolbox. You could extract and use it as you teach other people, right? You can break out the clarity tool and the 7 levels deep. I usually teach them separately, but I wanted you to have all the experience. But here's the cool part. I want you to really remember this. What you're doing is what Tony and I have done with you. so you can model everything that we do. Think about it. We got you in a challenge. You're going to learn in this course how to do a mini challenge to get people from all over the world to recognize you, know you, want to learn from you, right? Maybe you came through a challenge to get here. You can model what we do, plus we teach it, right? We gave you the opportunity to buy a course. You saw how we laid it out, how we trained it. You can model that. You could say, I'm going to build a course, or maybe I'm going to go live like Dean does some weekends, or like Tony's done. You can model that. You can use the tools that we're using in this course. You could see that Module 1, we talk a lot about mindset because we want to put people in the right mindset so they can digest and actually use. You're going to want to do the same things on how you teach. So the cool part is you pretty much can rip off everything we do and put it in your own words. We have 65 years between us doing this. We kind of figured out how to impact people's lives and create success around it. So I'm giving you permission to rob us, rip us off, model us, make it your own version. And the cool part is we're not going anywhere. We're in the Facebook group on a regular basis. We're doing training on a regular basis. We do live events, 1 or 2 live events a year. You could just keep modeling everything we do as you grow. And here's the cool part. Everything we teach, and you're going to see this in Module 2, is you're going to learn frameworks, but they're like an accordion. You could take the frameworks that we teach and make it when you're small, or make it shorter, or as you get bigger, you can expand the accordion. That's everything we thought through in this course, is how to make it, do it small, how to start, but then how to expand it and make it big. I appreciate you guys going through this course and playing full out in this section. See you in the next video.